Hello, Robert. Thanks for the video response. It's nice to be able to talk to someone without childish insults and profanity. I know I've cussed myself, but I don't think I overdo it. Anyway, to answer your question, yes, I am aware, and I've talked about this with my buddies all the time. We know that would-be terrorists are angered enough by our presence there that they become, instead of being would-be terrorists, become terrorists. Some of them jumped into Iraq from other countries and joined the insurgency, and that's why right now we're fighting many foreigners, not just the Iraqis that want to attack us. But having said that, I still think we should remain there for a short time. I think that we can plant the seeds that will someday lead to a good society, a good democracy. If you look, I've been studying the history of Iraq, and I haven't gone too far back. I've only gone back to about the 1950s. They have not had a stable government for half a century. It's been coup after coup after coup. I mean, every single leader has attempted assassination or taking military action or done something to get into power. No one has been voted or chosen by the people. So I can understand why some people are reluctant to try the new system or don't believe that we can do anything for them. But they do have a new government that will eventually, fix itself, and I think it will, because it's Sunnis, Shiite, and Kurds. I don't think the Shiite politicians will allow the Sunnis to screw over their people, and vice versa. It goes for the Kurds as well, and that's why I think eventually it'll start to work. But the politicians can't do anything if the entire country is too busy killing one another and in the middle of a civil war. So us being there is just trying to equal the violence, and yes, sometimes that means more violence. I mean, I wholeheartedly believe in the saying, you can't have peace without war. I don't know of a single society that was able to achieve peace without death, either through fighting and killing many people and beating your opponent into submission, or through losing so many people that you lost all taste for war. Either or. It had to take deaths, it had to take bloodshed to achieve peace. And people are outraged by the numbers that they see, and yes, I mean, it's terrible, but at the same time, it's realistic. Look at any other war that involved people gaining their freedom and having to completely change the way they've been doing things for however many years. They've all been bloody wars. So I don't expect this war to be anything else but bloody and ugly. People are thinking too much about the Iraqis that suffered today. This generation has suffered. The generation before it has suffered. Generations before that have suffered. I always challenge. I would like to challenge people to look into the history of Iraq and to see how much suffering has been going on, and why I believe that it's worth it for them to suffer now, because if we can get to the Civil War and we can plant those seeds, then maybe future generations will be able to live without suffering. That's the goal. It's taking the U.S. generations to get over some of its ugly ugly phases. There was the there was slavery, and then there was the oppression of African Americans, and even now, racism is not a big deal. It's still here in our world, in the United States, and it's still a part of lives for some minorities. I don't feel like it's a big deal. I've never been discriminated against, but you still hear about it, and the way that things got better is there was always some people that taught their children racism is wrong. There were some blacks that taught their children not all white people are bad, and generation after generation, more and more children will pick this message up and grow up with it and pass it on to their children. So I think that's what's going to happen in Iraq. Some children will be told, this is a terrible war. This is what happens when violence is the method you choose. And they will grow up and want to be peaceful and know that peace is the way. And know that the history of dictatorship and how much it took for them to have a free government, and they'll pass that message on to their children. And generations from now, hopefully Iraq will be a country that you can live in happily and freely without too much fear of having another country start to launch missiles at you. So that's why I believe we should remain there for at least a short while. That's just my opinion. Happy to hit me up and let me know what you think. Later.